This is game number 2 of this best of 3. It's the first round of Go For SC2 May Finals, and with €600 of prize money on the line, this is a quite stacked online tournament. Spawning to the top left position of King Sejong Station, we have the teal Zerg player representing Vega Squadron, currently 1-0 up in this best of 3, JonnyREcco. And his opponent, to the lower right, the blue Protoss who opened this series with a very aggressive cannon rush, was unsuccessful in taking that first game. Formerly of Incredible Miracle, it is first. Who's currently playing for Duck now. I'm not sure if that's just a fun clan or if that is a serious team that I do not know about, but judging by their logo, I imagine it is quite a fun team at the moment. So first, I believe is currently teamless. I can check this on Wikipedia to see if he is. I'm pretty sure he is teamless at the moment. Yeah, he is currently teamless according to his Wikipedia profile. So Wikipedia being the source of all StarCraft 2 knowledge, I'd take that as a pretty good indicator. Now, Paul coming down first here from REcco, knowing that game number 1 started in such an aggressive way with those cannons, not wanting to risk potential repeats of that and not being prepared, because going hatch first and defending that form of cannon rush was beautifully done by REcco. Probably doesn't want to risk it yet again, because if he didn't play that absolutely on the cards, would have run into some problems. Probe now coming up, gonna take a little peek around at everything that could be coming through. Sees that, okay, spawning pool first, but not too early. A good number of drones are out, so we're not going to be having to contend with some big Ling all-in or anything like that. And that's going to be reassuring for First, who should look towards getting down his Nexus if he's just going for a standard gateway timing. May end up cancelling this Zealot. Just waiting to see what comes out of these Zerg cocoons, but having not seen them banked up ready for the 6 Speedlings or 6 Zerglings immediately, and now seeing the hatch, wouldn't be surprised to see this get cancelled and instead just a safe Nexus to get thrown down. Wait to see whether First agrees with that idea though. Looks like the Zealot is going to get allowed to finish up. So this is quite an interesting choice, finishing this Zealot. Many Protoss players will cut this. Initially make it just in case there is kind of a Speedling all-in or something along those lines coming, but First choosing to keep it. We'll be able to work down these plates, we'll be able to have a little bit of extra security early game against any Ling harassment towards that Nexus, but obviously does delay his natural expansion slightly, so there are drawbacks to going for that additional safety. Meanwhile, over on REcco's side, we've got the third hatch getting started. That came down very early actually, 3 minutes 50, and against the gateway expand, that is a very early time to be grabbing that. Clearly a very confident Zerg player in his ability to defend very early pressure, and considering REcco is so well known and renowned for being a macro orientated Zerg, that doesn't surprise me that he wants to take those greedy risks, especially when we factor in the fact that he is a game up. Probe coming through though for First, gonna get the confirmation that this hatch has been taken, and also that it's been taken relatively early. Meanwhile, over on First side, we've got the Stargate. This came down pretty quick. Not as quick as it could have been, but still relatively early on. Could be for an Oracle, could be seeing some Phoenix. Both are very viable options to be getting in the early game up against Zerg. The Oracle tends to be more of a hit or miss approach. You're putting a lot of emphasis on that Oracle dealing a lot of worker damage, and high level Zergs tend to be able to stop that. Phoenix, they may do less immediate damage, but in the long term tend to dish out a lot, so I'm glad to see First going for these Phoenix now. It's going to give him a lot of map control, the ability to force back scouting overlords, deny vision from REcco, but also it gives him harassment potential. Once he's got 4, maybe 5 Phoenix out, he can start grabbing queens, start grabbing drones, and quickly taking him down without risking the Phoenix themselves. So at the moment we've got obviously a few more drones coming through. This is REcco playing REcco's style, which is just full on macro mode. Handful of Lings are coming down, and we've also got a proxy pylon from First. This is relatively early. He's only sitting at 3 gateways for now, but with the aid of those Phoenix, this pylon could be very useful. It's out of vision range of that watchtower as well, so the Zealot's going to be able to sneak on by. Phoenix getting a few more kills, take down one Overlord. I believe that is the second one to have died so far this game, which is going to be a little bit frustrating. That's 2 lava, 200 minerals, all in all, a bit of a nuisance. Note the 3 Zealots haven't immediately run in. Instead, they're waiting, patiently, ready to engage after probably the next warping, going with 6 Zealots. Just a bit more bang for the buck. Nice control of these Phoenix, going to try and get the kill on that Overlord, but loses a Phoenix in the process. Probably not worthwhile. Does supply block Recco though, so that means that he's got less of an ability to get out Lings in order to defend against these Zealots. There's only 7 Zealots and 7 Zerglings. Obviously, one-on-one, Zealots annihilate. They absolutely crush face. So, first is in a potentially very good spot. Moving in now with a couple of these Phoenix, they're going to add a bit more damage. An even closer proxy pylon now coming through. 8 additional Zerglings have been started. The Phoenix just looking to intercept any Queens that may come and try and get some damage. Note the Spore Crawlers are taking quite a bit of damage. This frees up the Phoenix to get more damage done. They're going to pick up these drones as they start transferring. Another Warpin of Zealots takes the figure to 10. And that is really, really getting scary now. Lings trying to pick off these Warpins as they come through. And doing a good job of it. Preventing the Zealot numbers from getting too insane. Taking out the proxy pylons really is key here. Stopping the reinforcements, essential. Phoenix count now getting very high. JonnyREcco has to deal with a supply block after losing that Overlord. And that is going to really limit the number of Lings he can get out early game. The Zealot numbers, not frighteningly high, but with 3 more coming through, it's still going to be a threat. The Phoenix trying to spend some of their energy just to whittle down the numbers of defensive units, but the important thing is first has killed the hatchery, crippling the economy and the production of the Zerg player very early on, and doing a very good job of this. So needs to keep it up, needs to stay focused, knowing that he's done a lot so far. 45 probes to 50 drones, and still the damage comes through. Now Recco going to respond to this in kind of a new age kind of way. Rather than going for the Ling Hydra composition that many Zergs do, he's grabbing a Spire. And now your immediate reaction is going to be a Spire, Madals? What's he doing? There's Phoenix down. Mutalisks are not going to be any good. But it's going to be a Corruptor Muta composition. Heavy Sky focus. The Corruptors can zone out the Phoenix. The Mutas can deal with everything on the ground very efficiently. So this is potentially going to be a great composition. But it is a control composition. You have to make sure that everything you're doing is right on the mark. Because one misstep can spell disaster. Lings try and get some damage done here, but unfortunately a fair few manage to get pinned by 2 great force fields on the Protoss side. That means a lot of losses for the Zerg player who's re-attempting to secure that 3rd base. An Overseer is now going to get taken down, further adding to the dismay of JonnyREcco from this early on pressure. But the Corruptors now getting started. The Spire not yet scouted by first, although he's about to discover it, realize what he's going to be contending up against. He tries to go for a couple of those Overlords, but they're hugging up on some spores, so the Phoenix have to retreat away. Again, we're seeing a lot more Zerglings come around. They're checking the 3rd, because if the 3rd is seen, you know that your opponent isn't planning to end this game soon. But without seeing the 3rd, what is coming behind it? Actually, quite a lot of pressure. 1 Immortal, 2 Colossus, and a decent amount of Gateway production. It's very scary. The Corruptors, though, are going to help against those Colossi. The Mutalisk production, that needs to get ramped up soon, because otherwise the ground army will start rampaging for first. Will take out that 3rd base yet again, and probably spell doom for the Zerg. The trouble is, the gas income is what's really limited. Losing this 3rd, losing the 5th and 6th gas geysers, that's 200 minerals per minute you don't have. A lot of Lings taking substantial amounts of damage. This is the bulk of Recco's force going down there. He's at 39 army supply, rapidly trying to resupply more Lings. Grab out a couple more Corruptors, but what can they do? Lings alone against this Gateway force are not going to be that threatening, at least until they get in much higher numbers. Emergency spines are being placed. The natural base is going to be where the fight is taken. Is first going to be able to pump through here? Is Recco going to be able to hold off and take this game a bit longer? His Corruptor count already up to 9. Frantically trying to get a few more, going for a couple of shots at that warp prism. Wants to try and prevent additional reinforcements. But look at the army supply, 83 to 54. The Spine's not yet done, and the Protoss force advancing up the ramp. The Spine's getting taken down. The Corruptors coming in from the flank, attempting to take out the Colossi. One goes down, the second one being microed exquisitely. May go down anyway, will do, but look at this gateway force. Just so many units here. Ling's attempting to come through, but the time warps, the force fields, they segregate them from being able to engage into this Protoss army. Things looking very good now for First. He is just destroying everything REcco has. GG is called, and First levels out this series, taking it to 1-1, and that means we get the ace game.